all over for the Miami Dolphins. They have been sent to the NFL's final resting place. But the Buffalo Bills are still alive, and they advance on to next week's conference playoffs. Up now, today's NFC wildcard game with the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. Detroit's Barry Sanders had another sensational year carrying the football. He gained 1,500 yards this season. The Lions offense was the league's most prolific as quarterback Scott Mitchell had by far the best year of his career. And the great wide receiver Herman Moore caught more passes this season than any player in the history of the game. The Lions have won their last 7 games, and this team is rolling.
Players are playing like we know we can win. We know what we're capable of doing, and we know what our talents are.
The Detroit Lions have a long history in the NFL, and now they set out to win their first NFL championship in nearly 40 years. The Detroit Lions face the Philadelphia Eagles in this NFC Wild Card playoff.
He has earned being coach of the year. This is a team that will fight you, it will scrap, it will scrape, it will claw, it will do whatever it has to do to try to win a ball game. 2 things I think are premium in their importance for the Eagles today. 1, defensively, they must blitz, and they will blitz. This Detroit Lion offense is too potent to just sit back. They'll come after Scott Mitchell. And secondly, offensively, they have but one weapon, and that is running back Ricky Watters, who gained almost 1,300 yards. Without a big day from Watters, they have no chance of winning. Their formidable opponent is coached by, well, a guy we like a lot. That's Wayne Fonts, the head man of the Detroit Lions. He's down on the field with Lynn Swann.
Thank you very much, Dan. Wayne, we've read about it. Al mentioned it, talked about the record of dome stadium teams coming into the playoffs. How do you change the course of that history?
Well, we're trying to change it today, Lynn. We practice outdoors. We practice indoors in our own dome. We had the doors open. It was very cold in there. I think the best team on game day will win. Let's hope it's us.
They always say coming into the playoffs, good teams have to just execute. But don't you have to reach a different level into the playoffs to win these games?
There's no question about it, Lynn. We've been here now 4 times the last 5 years. We got to take it to another level to win this ball game.
Okay, Wayne, good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn.
Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn, as the crowd here at Veterans Stadium settles in for what we feel will be a very appealing matchup. Detroit against Philadelphia. Philadelphia, to use the phrase of the 90s, I guess, perhaps the most overachieving team in the National Football League this season against the hottest team in the league in Detroit. And Anderson to kick off. He bounces a ground ball inside the 20, fielded by Ron Rivers at the 18-yard line, and Barry Sanders, backup running back. Rivers takes it back out to the 33-yard line. Gary Anderson, as he approached the ball, slipped on turf that is not that moist. But down he goes. Big time slip. He went down. Scott Mitchell, terrific numbers. 32 touchdowns, only 12 picks this season. The great Sanders in the backfield. The rookie tight end is Sloan. Moore, Perriman, and Morton are the 3 wideouts. And we'll look at the line in a moment, which is anchored by Lomas Brown on the left side. That is Sloan, the tight end, in motion from the 33-yard line. And Barry Sanders breaks a tackle in the backfield, swings to the outside, and turns a loss into a gain. A small one, 2nd down and 8. The guys up front for Detroit. Lomas Brown will go to the Pro Bowl again. Mike Compton at left guard. Kevin Glover, in his 11th year, goes to the Pro Bowl for the first time. Lutz and Moss rounded out. It is 2nd down and 8 for Detroit at the 35-yard line. Receivers are on the right side with Perriman in motion. Mitchell looks that way and hits Perriman at the 40-yard line. He breaks 2 tackles and picks up a 1st down. And Philadelphia defensively They couldn't get Sanders in the backfield. They couldn't take care of Perriman. Rhodes does some early barking, and here's the 4-3 that Philly plays with Fuller, Harmon, Dixon, and the rookie Mamula up front. Romanowski, Gouveia, and William Thomas, who had 7 interceptions this season. The linebackers, McMillan at 5'7", and Taylor at 6'3", the corners. Zordich and Jackson are the safeties. Taylor will be locked on Moore most of the day. McMillan on Perriman. From the 47-yard line, Mitchell, the pump fake. Mitchell going deep for Perriman, and he can't make the catch. McMillan back there covering on the play.
That's the other matchup we'll be watching. It'll be McMillan, who is 5'7". He'll be locked up with Perriman most of the day at 5'9". And Al, you mentioned Bobby Taylor will be locked up with Herman Moore, the great receiver for the Detroit Lions with his NFL record 123 receptions this year, because Taylor is 6'3", and as you see, McMillan, he's short, 5'7", but he is some kind of a leaper. Got a hand in there and caused a drop.
2nd and 10. Nickel alignment defensively for Philadelphia. Mitchell a short drop and then overthrows Perriman. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Good penetration there by Ronnie Dixon. And then I think we're going to see a lot of different things from Philadelphia defensively. They're going to have to be upsetting, disruptive today.
Well, when you talk to Ray Rhodes, he thought the best game plan that he's seen against the Lions recently was by the Houston Oilers. And Jeff Fisher, their coach, put together a real blitz package to come after Scott Mitchell from all different directions. And he made it known that's exactly what the Eagles are going to do today, come from a lot of different directions.
6 defensive backs in the alignment for Philadelphia.
Here they come.
Pressure on Mitchell, and they sack him back at the 34-yard line. Mike Mamula, the #1 draft choice from Boston College.
And they go right to work on the side of the line, anchored by Lomas Brown, the guy who guaranteed a Lion victory. Mike Mamula lined up across from Lomas Brown, but that time Mamula goes to the inside. Brown blocks to the outside, and they got what they wanted. Pressure and a sack on Mitchell.
10-yard sack on 4th and 20. Mark Royals floats one down into the arms of Rob Carpenter, and he takes it from the 22 back to the 28. A minute 41 into the game in Philadelphia, no score.
Everything's new at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Even new ways to save. The 96 Buyer's Choice Drive Away. Drive away in the next generation of minivans. The 96 Plymouth Voyager with dual airbags and easy out roller seats at an incredible lease rate of only $269 a month.
Right here, right now. This is where you want to be.
For a limited time, only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Connect to internet.
Vaak sa pera isang di?
I'm Aptiva from IBM. Welcome to the future.
Put on your helmet. Huh? Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. Huh? You could win a Wilson football. Cool. Or even $1 million.
Whoa.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yeah. Look, it's 1st down, and one of these 6 plays will score. Knock it in there.
Whoa. End around. That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us.
Nope. Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice.
He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Get up.
Sun going down in Philadelphia. Let's take a look at the Eagles offensively. The old Lion, Rodney Peete, at quarterback. Ricky Waters and James Saxon in the backfield. Barnett and Williams are the wideouts, and Ed West, the longtime Packer, the tight end. Brooks is a rookie with McIntyre, McKenzie, Boatswain, and Davis. Barrett Brooks, a rookie out of Kansas State, on the left side. Rodney Peete leads him to the line with a 1st and 10 up at the 28-yard line. Out of a 2-back set, Ricky Waters tries to cut it back and picks up 2. Waters was held to about a yard per carry last week at Chicago. Spielman made the tackle. Here's the 4-3. Ellis is their #1 draft choice out of Utah. The rookie. Thomas, the former Viking. Porche and Scroggins round out the front four. Hayworth, Spielman, and Johnson. And the secondary has gotten a lot better recently. McNeil and Raymond at the corners. Blades and Willie Clay, who had 8 interceptions this season, at safety. Charlie Garner is in the backfield for Philadelphia. Spelling Waters on 2nd down and 8. He stays in the block, and Pete throws, and the catch is made up at the 38-yard line by the tight end West, and that is close to a first down. Let's get a report from Lynn Swan.
Al, we've already seen a couple of people slip on this field. Let me tell you why. From about the hash mark back towards the near side, the Eagles bench is always in the shade. It did not dry out like the far side of the field. There was 2 inches of ice on this field. They put a fertilizer substance on it to de-ice it, and the ground crew did a great job of cleaning it off. But when you touch it with your hand, it feels a little oily, as if there's an oily surface on it, Al. You get a lot of slipping on this side of the field.
That's what you get when you put fertilizer on AstroTurf. 3rd down and 1, and the pass intended for Barnett is incomplete. Rob Carpenter also in the area. 4th down, and they're forced to kick.
And I can tell you one thing that Wayne Fonts and his team did. They went back into their locker room and sanded the bottom of their shoes. You can see that ball just floated a little bit on Rodney Peete. It fluttered out of his hand and took off. But they were back in their locker room with a belt sander, roughing up the edges on their rubber cleats to give them better traction. Talking about the Lions.
Tom Hutton with a kick, and it is fair caught at the 20-yard line by Brett Perriman, a 42-yard boot. So each team has had the ball once. Detroit with it when we come back.
Anybody know McDonald's Big Mac song?
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce.
Cheese.
Pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. Oh, my! 2 all-beef patties, special sauce.
Onion. And a sesame seed bun.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce.
2 all-beef cheesies. Cheesy beefies.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce.
Cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
I can do anything. Why can't I do this?
Have you had your Mac today?
Ah, the fresh autumn air. Where are those darn flashlights?
Ow!
Dependable Duracell batteries. Nothing lasts longer.
Hey, where's mine?
The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
Now, to each man who shaves, there's an edge all his own. Only Edge Gel has 8 custom formulas, from tough beards to sensitive skin, for a close, comfortable shave. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
Right here, right now, this is where you want to be.
Everything's new at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Even new ways to save. The 96 Buyer's Choice Drive-Away. It's your choice. Lease the fun-to-drive 96 Plymouth Neon Coupe for just $199 a month. Or get our lowest APR. Or our biggest cash back.
Right here, right now, this is where you want to be.
For a limited time, only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Wednesday, Rick's rebellious daughter tries her hand at babysitting.
What have you done? You look like Gabe Kaplan.
It's an all-new Grace, Wednesday.
The Lions against the Eagles. The winner of this game, a likelihood would go to Dallas, in as much as Green Bay is a heavy favorite to beat Atlanta. However, if Atlanta wins that game tomorrow, they would go to Dallas, and the winner of this game would go to San Francisco. First down, Detroit from the 20-yard line. Mitchell throws, and it's knocked down by Bobby Taylor, the Notre Dame rookie, who normally plays on the other side of the field, but because of the height matchup today, flips, makes the play. Good play.
He did a good job against Michael Irvin a couple of weeks ago, so they decided they'd lock up Taylor with his size, a 6'3", against the 6'3" Herman Moore, and a good leaping deflection by the rookie from Notre Dame.
He sat on that pattern like he knew what was coming. That was beautifully played by Taylor.
Second down and 10. Barry Sanders, remember him? And he picks up only a yard as he gets to the 21-yard line. Andy Harmon makes the tackle. ABC's coverage of the NFC Wild Card Playoff is brought to you by the all-new Plymouth Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. Aptiva, the home computer from IBM. Welcome to the future. And Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest the low-fare airline. 3rd and 9 for Wayne Fonz's Lions. Ray Rhodes, the coach of the year, guiding the Eagles to their 10-6 mark. Mitchell. Great job by the secondary. William Fuller finally tackles him, but it's in effect not a sack, but it's a coverage play as the secondary did its job. Mitchell had nowhere to go, and down he goes in the punt.
Mark Millen all over Bet Perryman, and he will be locked up with him today, and that was exactly where Scott Mitchell was looking for Perryman for first down yardage, and good coverage by McMillan.
Mark Royals to punt for the second time. Good kick. 47 yards taken by Carpenter, and he brings it back to the 37-yard line. Tackled there by Stephen Boyd. 10:40 left, first quarter in Philly. 0-0.
Everything's new at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Even new ways to save. The 96 Buyer's Choice Drive Away. Drive away in the next generation of minivans. The 96 Plymouth Voyager with dual airbags and easy out roller seats at an incredible lease rate of only $269 a month.
Right here, right now, this is where you want to be.
For a limited time, only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
One man has a vision of the future.
Wackos everywhere, plague of madness.
Another dreams of living in the past.
I just want to do my part to get us back on top in charge of the planet.
Crazy as a loon.
Both men are dangerous.
5 billion people are going to die.
But only one of them can stop the 12 monkeys.
Too late. Too late.
Bruce Willis, Madeline Stowe, Brad Pitt. 12 Monkeys. Rated R. Now playing in select areas. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Are you planning on serving heartburn for the holidays?
But, Dad, you love peppers.
I love sausage too, but my stomach.
Ah, wait till you see the appetizer.
Pepsid AC acid controller?
Take one little Pepsid AC before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it even starts.
Stop heartburn before it starts?
You see, Dad, Pepsid AC controls acid for 9 hours through the night so you can sleep.
Oh. Say, you think we have enough peppers?
For the holidays, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George and the Ohio State Buckeyes battle the Tennessee Volunteers. It's the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl, New Year's Day on ABC Sports.
The Lions and the Eagles are scoreless. We played 4 minutes, 20 seconds in Philadelphia in the late afternoon. Rodney Peete, the first quarterback in 15 years to start a postseason game against his former team. Ken Stabler started one in '80 as an Oiler against the Raiders and lost. And the catch is made by Calvin Williams. And with a stiff arm, he's out of bounds. Up at the 50, Corey Raymond with the tackle.
Corey Raymond giving Calvin Williams a lot of area to hook up. He must have been playing 6 or 7 yards off Calvin Williams, obviously in single coverage, and a good read by quarterback Rodney Peete.
But notice the pattern. It's as simple as it possibly could be. You're not going to see Rodney Peete taking a lot of chances throwing the ball, or I don't think you're going to see Calvin Williams with a bad ankle do a lot of cutting early in this ballgame. Calvin is just trying to make it through this thing.
Yeah, Williams' time could be limited today. We might see a lot of Chris T. Jones, and that pass is off the hand of Fred Barnett. Their other wideout, Barnett and Williams coming together in 1990 in the draft, but Fred's had an off year.
Yeah, where Rodney gets in trouble is in the middle of the field. This guy has almost a 2-to-1 touchdown-interception ratio in the opposite direction. He comes into this game with only 8 touchdown passes and 14 interceptions. And where he gets in trouble is he'll throw it up in the middle of the field. And, of course, there's the $3 million man on the sidelines, Randall Cunningham.
And the father-to-be, you all know about that, is Waters takes the ball to the 47-yard line. It's been a huge story in Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham's wife is pregnant. The due date is tomorrow, but Randall has said, and he's been saying it for several days, if word comes that she's in labor, he's out of here. He's going to the airport.
That's Felicity. I'm sure she's watching, or at least I hope she's watching, as does Randall. And I don't think that Ray Rhodes would hesitate to go to Randall Cunningham if Rodney struggles here in the early part of this game. He needs something disruptive defensively. Randall Cunningham could put a tremendous spark into this offense. It would be dangerous, but I don't think Ray Rhodes would be above making the change.
3rd down and 5. Good blocking up front, and the catch is made by Fred Barnett for a first down to the 38-yard line. The whole push came up the middle, and the Eagles did the job to protect him. First down.
That's what Barnett has struggled with this year, the pass over the middle. He had 78 receptions a year ago. Ray Rhodes brought a new offense in, throwing underneath across the middle, and Barnett has struggled with that, but he makes a big first down catch here.
Left in the opening quarter, no score. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Ricky Waters, who scored 3 touchdowns in last year's Super Bowl as a 49er, is tackled by Mike Johnson. A little skirmish breaks out. Barrett Brooks and Tracy Scroggins do some bumping.
Well, their bumping will continue for the balance of this ball game. They're right across from each other. Offensive left tackle and right defensive end, and Scroggins, the former linebacker, had a big year for the Lions, ended up with 9.5 sacks, and his game is quickness. And when you're a rookie like Brooks, that's the toughest thing to get used to. It's blocking a smaller guy who's quick. He'd much rather have a guy try to run over him.
2nd and 10. Feet with a 4-receiver set. Drops it off for Ricky Waters underneath. He's tackled by Spielman, who's played the entire season with a chest muscle, a pectoral muscle that's given him a tremendous amount of trouble and has limited the movement in his arm.
That's what the Eagles have to continue to do. Get the ball in the hands of Ricky Waters. He was a 1,200-yard rusher for them. He had over 60 receptions. Main reason offensively the Eagles are even here today.
Here's this matchup between Brooks and Scroggins. He's going to press Brooks back, and look at him slide. And again, it was between the hash mark and the sidelines, as Lynn Swan was telling you about. And boy, a good illustration there of how slippery it is.
3rd down and 5 with Barnett in motion. And off balance, it was deflected by Spielman and then almost intercepted by Johnson. It'll be 4th down. And if you're thinking about a Gary Anderson attempt, it would be about 50 yards.
Well, Mike Johnson, the king of the turnovers for Detroit, with a couple of interceptions, 4 fumble recovers, almost had another one. He's shaking his head. It was right in his hands.
They will not attempt a 50-yard field goal. Instead, it will be Tom Hutton lining up to punt. Rookie out of Tennessee.
Anything if it's not inside the 15-yard line, this is going to be a major disappointment.
Well, he's kicked 13 touchbacks this season. That was the most in the league. Perfect. And this time he lays it inside the 5. Perfect. That was beautiful. Floated it. Jerome Henderson was there to catch it, and that pins the Lions deep in Detroit territory. A beauty. 7:18 left in the first quarter in the NFC Wild Card Playoff in Philadelphia.
Welcome to the greatest air connections of the past 25 years, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating its 25th anniversary. Southwest Airlines, the low-fare airline. The Eagles' Randall Cunningham silenced the Superdome crowd and turned out the lights on the Saints by throwing 2 touchdown passes to Fred Barnett in Philadelphia's wild card romp.
He's loading up. He's floating it deep, leaping, and a great touchdown catch by Fred Barnett!
Right now, Southwest Airlines has gotta-go fares starting at just $19 one way on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. It's such a good deal. People everywhere see it as the perfect opportunity to get away. But if you want gotta-go fares to be your big break, you'd better hurry. Gotta-go fares from $19, only on Southwest, the low-fare airline.
Get more boombox for your buck. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Tuesday, Rosie and Jackie's new jobs are a ball.
Oh, Jackie?
What? Until their friendly sales competition turns sour.
Got milk?
An all-new Roseanne Tuesday.
Great shot. Sun going down over Quakerland here in eastern Pennsylvania.
The stadium's starting to quake a little bit right now as well.
Yes. Lions pinned deep in their own territory. Barry Sanders tries to give them some breathing room, but not much. Takes it out to the 4-yard line. Barry finished second this season in rushing. Emmitt Smith won the title, and Sanders second with an even 1,500 yards.
It's a dangerous guy to have carrying the football, though, close to the goal line. You know, Barry's a big play guy. He had more big runs than anybody in the league this year, but he also had more runs losing yardage than anybody. And, you know, when you're inside your own 5-yard line, that's a concern. I'd still give it to him, man.
Lions have already punted twice. Second down 10 from the 3. Mitchell, the short drop, then throws to Perriman, and he's ridden out of bounds immediately by Mark McMillan as he gets it up to about the 8-yard line, setting up a 3rd down 5.
Well, in this situation, I don't think the Lions should be afraid to come back and try the same type of pattern. Just a 6 or a 7-yard sideline pattern. Tom Moore, their offensive coordinator, on the sideline, but I wouldn't be the least bit concerned about going back to Herman Moore or Perriman just with that sideline pattern.
3rd and 5. The Eagles with 6 DBs. And a 5-man rush, and a catch made by Moore. He got position inside Taylor, and Mitchell was right there to gun it into the numbers. 1st down at the 16.
Perfectly thrown ball to Herman Moore from Scott Mitchell. And we watched Scott Mitchell really grow up in the 3rd game, right after the 3rd game against the 49ers, when he really came of age. They shortened up their offense, 3 wideouts, and this is good coverage by Bobby Taylor. That ball is thrown perfectly where only Herman Moore could handle it.
Fake to Sanders, and then it is intercepted, deflected, picked off by Mark McMillan. Off the hands of Brett Perriman, and the first big break of the game goes to the Eagles.
And the first poorly thrown ball by Scott Mitchell, and it was poorly thrown. He was not pressured. He just threw it high. Perriman, who only goes about 5'9", couldn't get to it. Off his fingertips into the arms of McMillan.
And what a job McMillan did of keeping the ball off the ground. There's the high throw, and yes, it's high. But look at the job Mark does of getting underneath that ball and keeping it from hitting the turf. But that's a relatively routine reception. Beautiful job by McMillan, though, of fighting and digging the ball and keeping it from touching this carpet.
Now Pete from the 14 hands the ball to Charlie Garner, and he is in there, we believe, for the touchdown.
Not yet. No signal yet.
Well, he clearly crossed the goal line. Well, that's a touchdown. We're just waiting for the official word.
I don't see a flag.
No signal, but clearly in.
Well, since they're lining up for the conversion, I assume it's an official 6.
Well, talk about being opportunistic. There goes Garner, and that's a touchdown. He's inside the pylon by a good yard or 2.
First turnover results in 6, now 7.
15-yard run for Garner. Anderson for the point after. Perriman's deflection and subsequent interception comes back to haunt Detroit, and it's 7-0 Philadelphia.
And a nice turnaround for the Eagles, who've fallen way behind in their last 4 ball games. Finally, Philadelphia has the lead.
It is a test, not just of strength, but of the power of the mind. And if you complete the journey, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Wrangler jeans. Available in the 2 colors boys prefer most. Black and blue. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans. Pine Lake. of Wrangler jeans. Everybody's comfortable, even the fish. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
1879, Siemens invents the first electric locomotive, top speed 10 miles an hour. That was then. This is now. Today, Siemens technology can connect cities at over 200 miles an hour and carries millions of commuters with more comfort and convenience all across America. Transportation is just one of Siemens' vast array of technologies that help keep America on the move. Siemens, precision thinking.
Charlie Gardner scoring the first touchdown of the day after the interception. Scott Mitchell had it deflect off the hands of Perriman into Mark McMillan's arms. Changing shoes because of the wet turf here.
That's Ricky Waters. His traction is critical.
Appropriately named. As Anderson's kick taken by Rivers, and he brings it back to the 22-yard line and then gets forced all the way back to the 5. Of course, the forward progress to the 22, but that's how stoked the Eagles are to drive them back 17 yards on the run back.
And I think they're fortunate they didn't get a penalty. It's nice to be pumped up, but you can't run a guy back 15 yards and then drive him into the ground. It's nice to show a little enthusiasm, but there's a point where you got to let up.
Danny Smith, the special teams coach.
Boy, stoked is the word to Al. And this team reflects their head coach, Ray Rhodes. I think would have liked to have gone to center field and had a fist fight with Wayne Font to kick this game off. He is one tough cookie.
He's not a real smiling man, is he?
First and 10 from the 23-yard line. They fake the end around to Morton. Then that's batted. And the Lions are very lucky nobody was there to come up with that one. Daniel Stubbs with the hands up to bat it away.
Former 49er that Ray Rhodes knew when he was there. Traveled around, went to Dallas and then Cincinnati, and then one of the unlikely ones that Ray Rhodes decided he wanted in, and he brought in a lot of new players.
Well, one of the things the Eagles have worked on is the fact that Mitchell throws the ball sidearm. And so they're more concerned with blocking the ball. They've practiced all week long on sensing when he's going to release it and trying to knock it down. It's that sidearm delivery. He's tall, but he brings the ball down.
He gives the ball to Barry Sanders. Typical Barry. Had him twice near the line of scrimmage, and the next thing you know, it's a gain of about 7. Zordich makes the tackle.
We talked about Barry and the many times that he has lost yardage, of course, leading the league in big plays. One of the reasons the single setback has no lead man in front of him, and they take him back a lot to the weak side. That's why he loses a lot of yardage, but he breaks so many tackles. And just when you think you've seen everything from Barry Sanders, he does something even more incredible.
Last season, he was stymied in that game at Green Bay. They held him to -1 in the Packer win. On 3rd and a long 2 is Herman Moore making the catch and a first down for Detroit, tackled by Bobby Taylor up at the 36-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the period.
Philadelphia gambling again. Bobby Taylor all alone, locked up with Herman Moore. No help deep, and a quick read by Scott Mitchell and, of course, Herman Moore, and they go right to Moore. This is a good coordination between Mitchell and Herman Moore. Once they saw that single coverage, right to him.
First and 10, Lions at the 36-yard line. Flushed out. Chase throws on the run. Caught at midfield. David Sloan, the rookie tight end out of New Mexico. Tackled by William Thomas, and another first down.
Oh, wow. Great improvisation on the part of Scott Mitchell. That pass was supposed to go to the right. Good coverage there. He's not a speedy type rollout quarterback, but he got out there, looked downfield, stayed alive, and got the ball to the rookie from New Mexico.
He does have one advantage in rolling to the left, in that he is left-handed. He doesn't have to come back across his body to make that throw. Very alert by Mitchell.
Less than 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Mitchell guns one complete, 37-yard line. Play is over as the ground caused the fumble. Brett Perriman makes the catch, and Perriman's slow in getting back up. Jackson and Gouveia converge on the hit.
Gouveia and Jackson both arriving there at the same time, and Perriman with 108 receptions on the year. stays down, gets medical treatment. Gavea, of course, an unprotected free agent from the Washington Redskins. Good pass defender. Never considered all that good against the run, but he is very good in defending against the pass. 54 is Gavea, and Jackson is 47. It's kind of doubled over.
Looks like it was his right leg that he got caught underneath him in an awkward angle. Take a look at it here from the other side of the field. Let's see that right there. Jackson, 47, comes down right on the right ankle of Brett Perryman.
Remarkable pair, Brett Perryman and Herman Moore, during the course of the season, with 123 receptions for Moore, a new NFL record, and 108 for Brett Perryman.
There's Aubrey Matthews over on the sideline warming up. He'll be the next in line. Johnny Morton, their #1 draft choice of last year, will have to fill a more prominent role. Well, Jackson, the former Giant, in there on the tackle and inadvertently lands on the ankle of Perryman.
Morton with 44 catches, clearly the #3 receiver. And you look at his numbers, but then you go all the way down from the big three to Matthews, who caught only 4 balls all year. And they're going to have to wheel Brett Perryman off the field. So the Lions, who've watched their offense operate on all cylinders, #1 in the league in yards gained, 2nd in points, and then early in their opening playoff game, Wayne Fontes has to look on as Brett Perryman needs to be assisted from the field.
And their standard formation is 3 wide receivers. They only had 4 wide receivers active for this game. Their 5th, Kes McCorvey, is inactivated, so all 3 of their receivers are in the lineup now. And if they should suffer one more injury, now Tom Moore here, the offensive coordinator, is going to have to go to a different offensive set. And the 3 receiver set has been awfully good to these guys.
And what you would expect them, they would go back to their 2 setbacks, bring in Lynch, and it would make Barry Sanders perhaps a little more effective, but it'd be much more easier for them to defend on the part of Philadelphia. And there's Bill Ford, the owner of the Detroit Lions. What a good man he is to work for, too. He is so patient, and even though he gave an ultimatum at 3 and 6 that there would be changes made over the years, he is known for being so patient. Good man to work for.
I'm sure Perriman's on his way in to the locker room to get x-rays. And again, it's a shame when you work all year to get into the playoffs, and then so early in the ball game you're on your way in to have something looked at. We can only hope that it works out for the best.
You know, he's tough too. He's a real chatter in the huddle. He's a very inspirational type player. He'll be missed. Not only his 108 receptions, he'll be missed in that huddle.
Well, it's time for other people, for Detroit to step up. That's what has to happen when somebody goes down.
It is 2nd and 1 now from the 37-yard line. 2:25 to go in the opening quarter, and they give it to Barry Sanders, who springs to the outside and works his way for a first down. Got by Zordich, and I would have to think that Barry will perhaps play a little bit larger role than Detroit might have anticipated coming into the game now.
Frank, we're laughing because you're not supposed to be able to do that, are you?
You can't. You know, I used to do that for a living. I'm not saying that we did it in black and white years ago, but I mean, I just love to watch him, quite frankly.
He's stuffed in the middle, and he gets around the corner so easily. Rope contained.
Eagles leading 7-0 as Mitchell throws off his back foot. David Sloan makes the catch, and the tight end has a touchdown.
Wayne Fontes cannot tout David Sloan enough. Keep in mind, this kid is a rookie, a 3rd-round draft choice, and Wayne Fontes says, mark my words, as the years roll along, this guy is going to become the best tight end in the National Football League.
And he beat a safety, not a linebacker. Ordinarily, a rookie tight end would be covered to the linebacker as you use your defensive backs to do double coverage, particularly against the Detroit team. But they went with Michael Zordich. Zordich was beaten completely to the outside, took a little head fake to the inside, and a beautifully thrown ball also.
That man is 6'6", 254 pounds with the speed to go deep.
Hansen for the point after, and he just does boot it through. Sloan scored 1 touchdown this season in November against Tampa Bay.
And only had 17 receptions, but they like what they've seen. They like him in training camp. They drafted him number 3, and as Dan mentioned, he is a huge target going downfield and very athletic.
Well, we mentioned that with the loss of Perriman, someone else has to step to the forefront, and it didn't take David Sloan very long to do so.
Update from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Well, Al, this field is going to be treacherous for the players all day. As we said, on the near side where it's wet, it's a little oily and it's slippery. The Eagles have changed shoes. They've gone from this shoe with a flatter cleat to one that's more pointed. Now, that's great when you're on the near side, but guess what? On the far side of the field where the sun was hitting it all day, it's extraordinarily dry. This shoe is actually going to overgrip. So no matter what you do today, there's going to be a problem with the footwear. Guys are just going to have to get their bodies under control, make sure they plant properly to make their cuts, because it will be slippery a lot of places on the field. Al?
I wonder if that could have happened to Brett Perriman. It looked like his right foot was kind of trapped under him. And as Glenn pointed out, that was a side of the field that is very grippy. We'll be getting the word, I'm sure, about Perriman's condition.
1:58 remaining in the opening quarter. Witherspoon back to receive the kick. It's an angled kick, and that one will go out of bounds, and that means Philadelphia will have the ball at the 40-yard line as Jason Hansen boots it out of bounds, and
that's almost unforgivable, booting the ball out of bounds on a kickoff these days, with the penalty being that you get it at the 40-yard line. That's a backbreaker.
So that shot of the sports complex here in Philadelphia, Veterans Stadium, and the Spectrum across the street, still the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, and then those two teams will move just out yonder there. That new building is the new indoor facility ready to open next year here in Philadelphia.
Well, we got a brand new love affair here with the Eagles and owner Jeffrey Lurie and the city of Philadelphia. Changes quickly around here.
First down for Rodney Peete and the Eagles from the 40-yard line, and over the middle it's Ed West, the tight end, making the catch on a first down as he gets it into Detroit territory, tackled by Spielman.
Ed West been around now 12 years, had those great years at Green Bay, over 200 receptions. But one of the unlikely players that I mentioned at the top of the show that Ray Rhodes knew when he was up in Green Bay, decided he could bring him here and he'd be a big help. Guy McIntyre, 62, a 49er with Ray Rhodes. He's very familiar with these players.
First down, Ricky Waters goes to the outside, chased by Johnson, and then run out of bounds after a short gain. Been a fascinating year with Ricky. Opening day, he didn't lay out for a pass over the middle, and he was asked about it. He said, for what, for whom? Big headlines, and automatically everybody came down on him. But as the year progressed, they got what they wanted from Ricky Waters.
And I think it's because of Ray Rhodes, who could have, you know, how he handled Ricky early on in the season, I think was really going to tell the direction of this football team. And the way he disciplined Ricky was behind closed doors, and he got his production out of him, almost 1,300 yards.
2nd and 8, juggling catch is made by Fred Barnett, and he's close to a first down. Appears to be just a little short of it inside the 39-yard line. The report from the locker room is that Perriman suffered an injured right knee, probably will not return. Nothing more specific from the Lions locker room.
Calvin Williams up close to the first down. If that looked familiar, it's had a very 49er-ish look. A slant in. Ball thrown a little behind Calvin Williams, but he does come up with the first down. That's Ray Rhodes, influenced by 12 years with the San Francisco 49ers in 2 shifts. Played out there as a defensive back also.
5 Super Bowl rings for Ray Rhodes.
It's a handful, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Literally. First down at the 38-yard line. Unless you're three-finger Mordecai, Brian, then it's a different story.
That's why so many of us have none. Right. Some guys have too many.
Here is Garner breaking one, and Charlie Garner is inside the 20, inside the 10, and out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
quite so big. It was just a little over a week ago, as we look at Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, that they took 3 pins out of a broken wrist of Charlie Garner, and he came back after a couple of weeks off to play last week against Chicago, and he just spurts for a big one here in this playoff game. He is so quick. Now to the outside and turns it on. What a changeup he is with Ricky Waters.
And that is the end of the quarter. The game tied 7-7. Back we come to Philadelphia after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Most of the floats at Mardi Gras are made right here at Blaine Kern Artists. They make things bigger than life. But for office supplies, they make one call to Office Depot. Because nobody takes care of more businesses than Office Depot. And nobody guarantees lower prices. From Bourbon Street to Main Street.
Take care of business with the pros at Office Depot.
Everything's new at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Even new ways to save. The 96 Buyer's Choice Drive-Away. It's your choice. Lease the fun-to-drive 96 Plymouth Neon Coupe for just $199 a month. Or get our lowest APR. Or our biggest cash back.
Right here, right now. This is where you want to be.
For a limited time, only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Happy holidays from ABC. The climb to career success tests your skills, your stamina. The ascent is demanding and exhilarating, and soon you discover there are no boundaries, just opportunity, if you're ready to soar to meet it. Colorado Tech, a nationally recognized and accredited University of Applied Technology, where innovative learning strategies help students acquire skills and knowledge that meet real-world needs. Eliminate the boundaries. Soar to meet your destiny at Colorado Technical University.
Get any Domino's pizza for $7.99. Call now.
Tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, and football here on ABC. The Nokia Sugar Bowl from New Orleans. Virginia Tech, number 13, and Texas, number 9. It begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 in the afternoon Pacific tomorrow right here on ABC. First and goal as we start the second quarter, and Garner swings to the outside and picks up 3, taking it to the 5. Tackled there by Ryan McNeil. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Swan for this NFC wild card game at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. First time a playoff game has been held here in 5 years.
Well, this offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles, as we look at that spectacular sunset, they have been challenged by Ray Rhodes. They have played at times pitifully in the last month, and he has challenged them. And I'll tell you something, they're answering it. Right now, they're controlling the line of scrimmage against the Lions.
Second and goal, Garner again, and he takes it to the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Good cutback by the little man. Garner, who you have to respect going to the outside. You often overrun him because if you don't, he'll turn the corner on you. But he can cut back. He's not all that big, but he is not afraid of bringing it back to the middle. Watch him. You got to respect the outside. Now look, brings it back to the inside and gets close to the goal line.
Nice job by Guy McIntyre pulling around the corner and pinning it back to the inside. Somebody better get stout here for the Lions.
3rd and goal. Waters in the game, and Waters goes down. So they run Garner twice, take him out, but a 2-back set in with Saxon blocking. He can't get the job done, and Mike Wells tackles Waters. 4th down.
You throw it in that goal line defense, and now will come Gary Anderson to put the 3 on the board.
Eagles settling for a field goal attempt. John Hudson will snap it. Tommy Hutton will put it down, and Gary Anderson with little more than an extra point right here, except it counts for 3. He bangs it through, and he does. 21-yard field goal. So Philly retakes the lead with 12:56 to play in the half. 10-7.
It begins with a sound you can feel. Over 200 horses, powerful, almost angry. It knows your mind with steering that feels your speed. It's a new Pontiac Bonneville. So strong, so passionate. It takes the old idea of spending thousands more for a European performance sedan and leaves it at the side of the road. The new Pontiac Bonneville.
Energizer batteries keep going and going.
I was really downing those tablets. I started to think there was something really wrong with my stomach. Was I relieved when my doctor said I just needed a stronger antacid tablet.
Mylanta tablets are strong medicine. Made stronger than Tums. Stronger than any other antacid tablet. And made with calcium.
Unbelievable.
Mylanta tablets. Made stronger, made with calcium.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Gary Anderson with that field goal. He's now kicked 14 straight in postseason play. He came over from Pittsburgh, where he had a long and distinguished career. The NFL record, most consecutive in postseason. Raphael Septien with the Cowboys in the late 70s and early 80s with 15.
There's John Tierling on the left talking to Chris Spielman, going over the different looks that the Eagles gave them offensively last time around.
And Gary Anderson sends a line drive inside the 5, fielded there by Alan Williams, a rookie from Maryland, and he is taken down at the 12-yard line, slipping on the turf. And that will force Detroit to start deep again in its own territory.
It really is a problem. This is a simple cut to get to the outside and just planting that right foot. You can see the moisture come off the carpet.
First down, Detroit up at the 12-yard line. No penalties in the game to this point. Barry Sanders loses the football, but Morton is there alertly to cover up. Barry had gone over 500 handles without fumbling, and then he fumbled on back-to-back handles against Arizona earlier this season, and then just one fumble over the last 3 months of the year.
With Barry Sanders, you're so conscious of trying to make sure you make the tackle that you don't try to strip it too often. Unless somebody else has him in the grass, you're going to make the tackle. Forget about trying to strip him.
Knees looked like they were down, but the officials didn't call it that way as Mitchell throws, and David Sloan was the intended receiver, and complete third down.
Boy, William Thomas, a dangerous linebacker, and he was on the coverage. And Scott Mitchell, you look at videotapes all week long, you know that Thomas is so quick. He was on the coverage. He's had 7 interceptions on his way to the Pro Bowl. You got to be very careful around William Thomas when you're throwing the football.
3rd and 6, and the crowd rising as one at Veterans Stadium with their Eagles up by 3. Mitchell throws, and it's incomplete. Aubrey Matthews couldn't hold on to 22. 4th down. Mark McMillan with the coverage.
And good coverage it was. McMillan not as respectful of Matthews.
71 offense. 5 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
First flag of the game. It's on Zephros Moss.
And really a break for the Eagles. I mean, a break for the Lions, rather, in the display never happened. And this isn't anything that the Eagles could turn down, so they'll get another opportunity to go for the first down. Granted, from 5 yards farther back, but they will get another shot at the first down. You know, this is one the Eagles would just as soon never happen.
Well, this is the area where you got to be just a little careful you don't turn it over, and you would think that maybe they try to get the ball in the hands of Barry Sanders, something very conservative, high percentage. Very tricky turf down here. You have to be careful.
Crowd was so loud that nobody heard the last whistle. Mitchell deep, and it's Moore making the catch, but he was out of bounds.
Like I said, be very careful.
Bobby Taylor with the coverage.
Actually, you throw it down the sidelines, and that was a pretty well thrown ball by Scott Mitchell. The coverage was pretty good. He just literally led Moore out of bounds.
Well, I think Bobby Taylor is lighting this thing up so far. Now, he's got his right arm dangerously there on the left arm of Herman Moore. But to this point in time, for a rookie, Bobby Taylor's play has been exceptional.
Royals with a very short kick.
Well, he had pressure.
And that's out of bounds near the 40-yard line.
The Royals had to hurry that one.
They march it off, spotted at the 39, and that's where Pete and the Eagles take over at the Lion 39. 11:48 to the half, 10-7 Philadelphia.
They always do that? Nah, they usually go for 2.
If you ever end up in some Ben-Hur movie in your all-new Pontiac Sunfire GT with its powerful twin-cam engine, you'll be glad you have a quick-handling sport suspension. And, of course, 150 horses. Introducing the all-new Pontiac Sunfire GT. Finally, a real set of wheels you can really afford.
The world's finest golfers have battled all year. Now, $1 million will go to the winner of the Anderson Consulting World Championship of Golf, Sunday on ABC.
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, facility located south of downtown, opened in 1971. Bobby Taylor provided the coverage on that last pass for Moore. Now the Eagles take over at the Detroit 39-yard line. Rodney Peete had trouble with the ball and then gets it away to Ricky Waters. And Waters with a 14-yard gain, forced out by Massey at the 25-yard line.
A slick little play fake inside and a really kind of a bobbled snap, but Ricky Waters gets caught in the rubble, and nobody from Detroit bothered to cover the intermediate zone, Frank. They were all at least 15 yards deep.
And you have got to account for number 32 when you're playing the Eagles. You can't let him get caught in the rubble. You have to know where he is. Here he is. Like you said, he kind of hides in there. But somebody has got to be with 32, and he is going to kill you.
They were not within 15 yards of the line.
Waters again. And he's taken out. That's a nice play by Spielman, because he was the only Lion there at the point of attack, and he was able to hang in for Herb Patero's defensive group. Gain of 2.
Herb Patera and Jack Terlink, the Minnesota Viking coach, who came over this year with the more of an attack-oriented defense. He put in the 4-3, and they got on the same page about 7 or 8 weeks ago, and this has become an attack defense, not only up front, but in the secondary also. They're playing good defense.
Second down and 8. Rodney Peete is 7 of 10. Floats one toward the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Fred Barnett.
Beautifully thrown. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10 even.
Laid it in there, kept it in bounds, over the defender. Rodney Peete, who struggled the last few weeks, particularly last week, was dead solid perfect on that.
You couldn't have thrown that ball an inch further or an inch closer. Absolutely perfectly delivered by Rodney Peete.
Gary Anderson for the extra point. .43 to the half, and the Eagles have a 10-point lead.
Only one had the power of Eric Heitman. Only one has the control of Janet Evans. Only one had the endurance of Greg LeMond. Only one performs like this. Seville STS with the North Star system. The great performers are always creating a higher standard.
Is this your idea of better TV? How about this? Or better yet, this. If you ask me, it's not the TV, but what's on it, like DirecTV. 61 movie channels, 28 music channels, 14 news and information channels, and 12 family channels. All together only on DirecTV. So you can really channel your family's interests.
Now for as low as $34.95 a month, you can own the 18-inch DSS dish of your choice with DirecTV programming. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
To all beef patties, some kind of sauce, la 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 la, pickles and onions, and some other stuff too. Woo, 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 woo. I got it.
Even if you can't sing the Big Mac song, you can still get it for just 99 cents. The irresistible taste of McDonald's Big Mac. 99 cents for a limited time. So sing it, say it, or just ask for a Big Mac.
Does anybody here have 99 cents? Have you had your Mac today? Does anyone have any money?
Thursday, when the system stops working, this man fights back. Academy Award winners Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall in Falling Down. Thursday, parental discretion advised.
Red Barnett out of Arkansas State, catching Pete's touchdown toss, 17-7. Anderson with a bouncing kick that goes through the legs of Ron Rivers, still spinning. And Rivers taken down as he brings it back to the 12-yard line by the swarming Philadelphia coverage unit. David Whitmore making the tackle.
Ron Rivers lets it go right between his legs, and again with the turf being a little slick, that ball takes a funny bounce. He protected it with his body, but it came right between the legs, and it'll be a tough field position to start for Detroit.
Well, right now, Detroit's defense is reeling a little bit. They need a long drive by this offensive team.
And Barry Sanders finds no room at all. Cut it back and ran into Lomas Brown, and then Thomas and Romanowski take him down.
On the road, down by 10 points in a playoff football game. This Detroit offense better go back and take a deep breath in that huddle and figure out a way to come up with a couple of first downs, because they better keep their defensive team off the field for a while.
Barry having trouble on this turf also. You see him slip. Well, it cuts so quickly, it really hurts him.
When they run to the right, they're challenging the strength of the Eagles defense and William Fuller and Andy Harmon. If they're to have success, I'd go left.
On second down, 11. It is incomplete. He tried to jam it into Moore, who looks for a flag, doesn't get one. Zordich with the coverage.
Zordich almost had the football. Michael Zordich looked like he had more of the football than Herman Moore. With Brett Perryman out of the lineup, you know the focus is now going to be on Herman Moore. Underneath, it's Zordich, and he's all over the ball. Taylor back behind Herman Moore, and I think Herman can get used to that for the rest of the ball game.
Third down and 11. Henry Thomas hoping to stay off the field for a while, and if the Lions don't go 3 and out. Intercepted at the 22. Barry Wilburn. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, has reason to celebrate, as does everybody at the vet.
Remember in the first quarter, and it was overthrown by Scott Mitchell. He tried to bring that underneath, and Barry Wilburn was underneath, and he picked it off.
And Jeffrey and Christina Lurie, the owners of the team, celebrate. 23-7 going on 24.
Well, the Detroit offense didn't even do a 3-and-out. 3 and touchdown.
Well, it all began when the kickoff was bobbled by Ron Rivers.
Philly has converted both interceptions into touchdowns. Barry Wilburn, the longtime former Redskin, runs this one back for 6, and it's 24-7.
This is the future of corporate computing. No, wait. This is. Oops, sorry, scratch that. The future is definitely this. On second thought, it'll be this, we think. There are many visions of the future. Most will turn out not to be right. But we engineer our network systems in anticipation of uncertainty. So no matter which way it all goes, you can't go wrong. Digital, whatever it takes.
Scampi champagne. I like it.
Sparkling, delicious. No champagne tastes like Vallatore.
Frankly, I think it tastes better than champagne.
One sip of Vallatore, one sip says it all.
Dean Witter believed in listening.
Listen, not only to what our clients say, but what they mean. Each client has a level of comfort. Endeavor to find it. We measure success one investor at a time.
Only one has the moves of Barry Sanders. Only one has his acceleration. Only one has his control. Only one has such breathtakingly perfect balance. Seville STS with the North Star system. A great performer creates a higher standard.
Barry Wilburn, 5 years with the Washington Redskins, out of football for 2 years, then to Cleveland, then to the Canadian League, then out again, and at the age of 32, back here. He's made it 24-7. Wilburn, in the one Super Bowl game in which he played, Washington against Denver, after the 87 season, had 2 interceptions that day. Gary Anderson to kick off, 24-7. The Eagles on top. Kick taken at the 9-yard line by Ron Rivers. Dragged down up at the 25-yard line. Tackle made by Mark Woodard. ABC's coverage of the NFC wildcard playoff being brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. McDonald's, have you had your break today? And Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. Speaking of Pontiac, that's where the Lions wish they were right now. From their own 25, the catch is made by Aubrey Matthews. We talked about it at the top. Dome teams have had a terrible time in the playoffs on the road outdoors, and Mitchell's had a terrible time on the road this year, comparatively speaking. At home, as you can see, his rating 108.7, on the road 77.7. And 2 interceptions in Pontiac, 10 away from there, and 2 today. 2nd and 5. Mitchell throws, and that's picked off by Gouveia. In and out of Sloan's hands, and Gouveia with the interception.
Nightmare. Right now, Scott Mitchell is playing like a player who's in complete shock. It's not an out-of-body experience, Scott, no matter how much you wish that it was. It isn't.
Greg Gouveia, we talked about earlier, a good pass defender as a linebacker for many years with the Washington Redskins. That's a great play. And David Sloan could have reacted a little more quickly to it, but look at Gouveia. He knocks it up in the air, then makes the play.
Well, we called Rodney Peete's pass a 10. From a defensive standpoint, that was a 10. It's just a perfect play by Kurt Gouveia.
From the 32-yard line, Rodney Peete going for 6 more, and off the hand of Fred Barnett. He could get only the right arm up and couldn't hold on.
Ooh, Benny Blades saved the touchdown.
Oh, he did.
The ball just came in just a tad late, giving Blades an opportunity to get back and break it up.
When you saw Rodney Peete, he knew exactly that, Dan. He shook his head. If he would have thrown it just a little more quickly, it's 6 points. And he lofted it up there where Blades could get a hand and break it up.
Fred couldn't have been much more open from between the 20 to the 5.
2 hands would have helped. No, not a good throw.
2nd and 10, and Charlie Garner tries to get outside and is dragged down by Mike Johnson, the linebacker.
The problem with so much time left in this ball game, John Gruden, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, works from upstairs. But the problem for the Lions in this ball game, they just don't have any mistakes left. They just are now in a position, down 24-7, where whatever errors they could make and still hope to win this ball game have already been used up.
Right
this cat has run out of lives.
Dan, right now they need a big play from this
defense.
Yeah. And if that means take a little gamble here, then that's what they're going to have to do.
3rd and 10, 8 minutes to go in the half. Philly leading by 17. And that's caught for a first down. Fred Barnett.
You know, I'm watching the Lions play this football game, fellas, and I'm thinking back to what Wayne Fonts told us last night. He said, you know, I'm concerned a little bit that my guys aren't a little too loose, that we haven't won all these ball games. We've won 7 in a row, and that they're just not feeling a little too good about themselves. And I'm going to try to talk to them tonight and reel them in a little bit. And right now, you know what? They're playing like a team that's feeling pretty good about themselves.
From the 18-yard line, Waters slips on the turf, and that's a loss of 3. Spielman will get credit for the tackle.
Lions know, as we look at Wayne Fonts, even down 24-7, they have a very explosive football team. So far, the Eagles have taken Barry Sanders right out of this football game. Some way they're going to have to get back to him, whether he work him into the passing game or whatever. But again, I think look at the slip by Charlie Waters on that right side of the field, nearest to us. We've watched it all evening long.
Well, Spielman forced that slip by Ricky Waters. He was in the right place. Ricky tried to go back the other direction.
2nd and 13, and Carpenter was the intended receiver, and that's busted up by Ryan McNeil.
Oh, and Rob Carpenter wanted to call McNeil with a hand in there, but the official was right there. McNeil trying to cover the slant in. Well, he's all over him. But you're allowed contact in that first 5 yards.
3rd down, 13, 6:42 to go first half. Philadelphia 24, Detroit 7. Peete protected well over the middle. This is Calvin Williams. Flag comes in. Blades makes the stop at the 13, well short of the first down, pending the flag. Ron Blum is the referee.
This might be holding against Detroit.
Crossing pattern, Barnett.
If it is, it's an automatic first down.
And Wayne knows it.
Barnett and Williams were crossing, and it could be that or a pick. It will be holding.
Rodney knew it at the outset.
Because if you're looking downfield and you see your prime receiver being held, you're going to help the official.
Holding. 31 defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Another critical mistake that the Lions just don't have to give.
Corey Raymond, the former Giant, who had a superb year with Detroit with 6 interceptions.
First and 10 now at the 15-yard line. Garner in the backfield. Garner with the football. Picked up a 1 to the 14-yard line. Dan talking about Wayne Fonts contending that maybe his team feeling too good about themselves. Meanwhile, we asked Ray Rhodes last night, who delivered a fiery pregame speech prior to the Dallas game, what he was going to tell his Eagles. And he said, I'm going to tell them this is about manhood. I'm looking for fighters.
And he was going to make it clear that those of you that chose not to fight, well, you won't be here next year. He was extremely disappointed with their effort last week against the Chicago Bears, and he's looking to roll a few heads.
Second down and 9. It's caught. Barnett, and Barnett is stopped just short of the goal line. First and goal.
I think those that were in his doghouse are quickly working their way out. Fred Barnett's one of them. I think it's safe to say that Fred Barnett has not had the kind of year that neither he nor the Eagles wanted him to have. But what a first half he's having so far in this ballgame. Fred's catching everything that's coming his way.
And over the middle, too, Dan. And that has been the problem with Barnett. In the eyes of his coach, Ray Rhodes, and this time totally focused on the ball. Great concentration.
First and goal inside the 1, and Waters, despite juggling the handoff, is in there.
Well, right now, the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles is just taking it to the Lions. They own these guys up front, and they are kicking some butt.
"21 points off turnovers for the Eagles."
Brooks and McIntyre and McKenzie and Boatswain and Davis. These guys are getting it done up front. A good lead block by James Saxton. A good pin block by Ed West at tight end. And a lot of Detroit Lions are on the ground.
And not bad running. Gary Anderson for the point after with 4:59 left in the half. Ricky Waters, no stranger to postseason play. We talked about Waters with 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl last year. Nothing compared to what he did a couple of years before in a playoff game at Candlestick Park, San Francisco, against the New York Giants. That was the day Ricky Waters got into the end zone 5 times. An NFL postseason record, 5 touchdowns for Waters against the Giants.
They all from inside the 10. Still rather impressive. But he's the man. You got to put the football in his hands.
Well, the last time the Lions won a postseason road game was 1957. They beat the 49ers. It was a memorable game, though, because they were down in that one 27-7. And so they're going to have to duplicate that feat here. They're down 31-7 with 4:59 left in the first half.
Well, Scott Mitchell has to start by completing a pass to somebody on his own team.
What'd you say this game was?
That would help.
A good old-fashioned.
Ron Rivers banged down up at the 25-yard line. Tackle made by Derek Oden.
No, that's not an incorrect graphic. It is 31-7. Can you imagine what is going through the minds of everyone in the Detroit Lions uniform? They are stunned. This is the type of a set of circumstances that your mind has trouble comprehending. That you are this far behind this early in a ball game.
First and 10 at the 25-yard line. Barry Sanders up to the 30. Earlier today, Miami lost. Buffalo won it at Rich Stadium, 34-22 over the Dolphins. Miami will take on Pittsburgh next week, and then Kansas City will host the winner of tomorrow's San Diego-Indianapolis game. The winner of this game will go to Dallas if Green Bay wins tomorrow, or to San Francisco if Atlanta were to win tomorrow. Second and 5. Mitchell guns one up to the 41. Matthews makes the catch. Got a flag of the injured Perriman and a marker down. Ron Blum, the referee. We last saw Ron last week. He was the referee in the snowball game at the Meadowlands against Philadelphia.
Illegal hands to the face. 96 defense. Penalties declined. First down.
That's Mark Gunn, a defensive tackle. Defensive end, plays both positions. He gets called for illegally going to the face. There he is in the middle working against Scott Conover. And you can see he's got his hand on his face mask. And boy, that'll put a little stress test on your neck.
First and 10 at the 40-yard line as Mitchell throws underneath. Barry Sanders makes the catch and works his way across the 53. Detroit first down.
And the Lions with a couple first downs here on this drive, and it's been a while since they've had any. This offense has not gotten a whole lot done here lately, and I would keep up what they're doing, and that's getting the ball in the hands of Barry Sanders as often as I can. Make the guy who can make the big plays for you, make him a part of this game.
Mitchell going deep, and it's batted down by Bobby Taylor.
Well, there's going to be a spot for Bobby Taylor in Honolulu in the years ahead if he keeps going like this.
Great coverage on the NFL's #1 receiver, right with him, and he is all alone with him. He was not getting help inside. Just a superb job, and if you were with us earlier, Brett Perriman has gone out of this game. The Detroit Lions, other 100-yard reception receiver, injured knee, but look at that play by the rookie from Notre Dame.
Second and 10. And Barry Sanders gets pinballed down at the 41.
But pinball is a very good description, Al, and it's a very complimentary description when you're talking about a defensive team, because more than one guy is making the hit, more than one guy is making the tackle. And Ray Rhodes has this defensive team swarming to the football. They're stamping the quarterback, they're stamping the ball carrier, they're stamping the receiver. They're playing the way he looks, angry.
Ray always looks angry. Third down and 2. And the catch is not made. It's incomplete at the 36-yard line. Herman Moore went down to get it, hit the turf. So it's fourth down. I think I might have mistakenly said Miami plays at Pittsburgh next week. If I did, it's Buffalo, obviously, since they won. What I meant was the Panthers will meet the Penguins.
I wonder if you knew something we didn't know. Oh, good work, Al.
Do you like that? Fair catch is called for at the 16-yard line and made by Rob Carpenter off the boot by Mark Royals.
You're so good, I thought maybe we were wrong on that score.
There's the guy that deserves an awful lot of credit for the way that Philadelphia has rebounded this year, and that's Emmett Thomas. This is his first year of being a defensive coordinator in the National Football League, a longtime assistant, a great player in his own right with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he has molded people like Bobby Taylor and old veterans like William Fuller and Bill Romanowski, and he has made a really cohesive unit out of this defensive football team.
Thomas, a great defensive back with Kansas City, and I think taken by Ray Rhodes because so many years with the Redskins, he knows this NFC East so well. He's done a great job.
First down, 16-yard line. Waters. You know what's so improbable about Philadelphia is that, I mean, Ray Rhodes was a choice after Jimmy Johnson could have said boo. Dick Vermeil could have had the job. Mike Shanahan could have had the job. Who knows who else? And finally it got down to Rhodes, and he finally got a shot. And the next thing you know, he's the AP's coach of the year.
That was the first thing he said when they interviewed him. He said, I don't tell jokes, I don't laugh. He said, yep, but I'll give you a winner, I'll work.
Yep, don't do luncheons.
Now, could you believe a guy like that would say, I don't laugh and I don't do jokes? This guy's always got a smile on his face.
They are America's first line of defense.
Very nicely done. Almost as good as me.
But what if the enemy is one of them?
We got ourselves a broken arrow. What we call it when we lose a nuclear weapon.
The only thing more dangerous than what he knows is what he's prepared to do.
$250 million by 0900 Utah time. If you have not... Good God.
But there's one thing he didn't count on.
I know his mind works. You gotta let me go after him.
Outstanding, Hal. That's the spirit. The clock is ticking.
John Travolta.
You lose.
Christian Slater.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah. Ain't it cool?
Broken Arrow, a John Wayne film. Rated R. Starts Friday, February 9th.
Hey, vacation! Yeah!
are they going with Hurts?
I don't know.
Oh, no. This is exactly how it started last time. Did they reserve a big enough car in our baby seat?
Not exactly.
Did we get computerized driving directions like Hurts?
Not exactly.
Oh, remember what happened?
Exactly.
For over 75 years, nobody knows what you need exactly like Hurts.
See? They did rent from Hurts. I knew they had good taste.
Not exactly. Get a load of her outfits. Look at his shoes.
The Delaware River glistening on this late December night. Turnover, so often the story in football, both regular and postseason. 38 of the last 40 postseason games have been won by the team with the turnover advantage, and that is the story today. The Lions have turned it over 3 times on interceptions, and Philadelphia has cashed in on each occasion. 2nd and 7 now from the 19 with 2 minutes to go, and Ricky Waters swings to the outside, picks up a first down. The Lions were ready to call a defensive timeout to try to get the ball back, but Waters had other ideas. Now it's first down Philadelphia.
Now you talk about those turnovers, 3 interceptions already. Scott Mitchell only had 12 all season long. The Eagles defense so opportunistic this evening. They came in to be disruptive. We talked about it at the very top of the game, Dan, and they have been just that.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Draw to Waters. And Ricky knifes his way through the middle. There's a flag down in the offense.
That's got to be holding. That's got to be holding against the Eagles. And right at the point of attack, too.
Holding, 69 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Yeah, Harry Boatswain that time, I think, is locked up with Robert Porcher. And it's a draw coming right in behind Boatswain, and he spins him around. He's the second guy in there from the left. Right there, 69. You see him with the left arm right on number 91, Porcher. And that happens just 2 yards right in front of the referee. You're not going to get away with that.
Eagles' first penalty of the night. The Lions wound up tied for the league lead in penalties with Oakland. But that hasn't been the problem for them today. First down and 20 now. And Ricky Waters takes it up to the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd and about 12.
Again, quality work up front by this Eagles offensive line.
They've been a good running team all year long. They're 4th in the league after final tabulation in running the football, but they've done a great job, the offensive line. Now they've had to make a lot of changes, a lot of injuries.
Well, they've lost 3 of their starters. They've had to move a lot of people around. But it's an offensive team that again has been challenged by Rhodes, and boy have they responded.
Here's Garner, and Garner for another first down before he's hogtied by Benny Blades. Garner led the league in yards per carry for those who carried at least 100 times, 5.4, and he's taken down hard at the end of the play.
Well, Benny Blades winds up, and this is pretty close to the old-fashioned clothesline where he drives the forearm. Watch his from the left side of your screen right there. He comes in with the forearm and gets it right on the neck of Charlie Garner.
Perfectly good tackle. There were no fingers on that mask. Benny Blades will give you a pop.
1st and 10 from the 50-yard line now. Rodney Peete guns it over the middle, finds the open man. It's Reggie Johnson, the tight end, and a timeout called by the Eagles with 29 seconds.
I think that, we've reacted very well to adversity all year long, whether it's 2 home losses in a row, injuries during the season. This team seems to be better underdog than anything else, and so maybe we had to do that for the right combination, the right ingredients to go to the Super Bowl again, but obviously it wasn't the right ones for you guys.
Steve, injuries, of course, always a concern. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. As soon as I could throw again, I was so happy that I forgot that I really had been injured for 5 weeks, and I had some ways to go before I got to full speed. So about 2 weeks ago, when we played the Vikings, I really felt like I was back in the groove and throwing the ball the way I wanted to.
All right, Steve, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Of course, a lot of talk about the Niners and also the Cowboys continuing the NFC's dominance in the Super Bowl. They have won 11 straight Super Bowl games. Did you know that the only active player currently in the NFL with a winning team from the AFC is none other than Marcus Allen? What's going to be different this year to turn it around?
Well, first of all, I don't think any AFC team should shoulder the problems of the past or the expectations of this year. I think you got enough to worry about. AFC team, let's just go out there and play and do the best they possibly can.
Well, Coach, the Niners and the Cowboys, they showed that they were vulnerable this year.
They have. I think, obviously with free agency and the way things have changed, injuries have become a bigger part of making a run for the playoffs, I think, than ever before. So everybody's in, as I said earlier, has a chance, whether you got 9 wins or 12.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll be back with the second half of the Lions and the Eagles right after these messages.
Did you know that during the 17th annual Toyotathon, you could get $2,000 in value package savings on a Toyota T100? Did you know that the Toyota Tacoma 4x4 was named Pickup